What up, guys? I was hoping he would jump in and like take the lead. I always have to be the one to take the lead on this. He's always starts so mellow and then we get in. All right, welcome to the Holistic Life Show. I'm Jenny
I'm Jay.
and happy Friday, the last Friday of the year,
I don't even
last
know what day it is.
Friday of the decade. This is all just coming out. I didn't think about this ahead of time. It's the last Friday of the year, the last Friday of the decade. How was your holiday? Did you have a good time? Did you eat your brains out? Did you have lots of cookies? I did. Ate a lot. And then I ate a lot more. And then I ate a lot more. Which it's funny because I'm always like, oh, I'm not going to do it this year. And then you do it. Right? I think there's only been 1 year I haven't gone crazy. Probably not. So, what's up? Almost 2020, almost the new year. And I feel like this time right here is a time where people start being like, okay, I just went crazy. I'm in a sugar coma. I'm tired. I'm grumpy. It's time to get my life together and my shit together. I feel like this is the time where it starts creeping up because it's even creeping up for me. I was like, ooh, maybe I'll go downstairs and run on the treadmill, which for me, I don't mind doing, but I haven't done it in a while because I've been doing yoga and other things.
Right.
But still, I was like, ooh, I think I'm going to go downstairs and work out. Like, I want to get a really good sweat session. I want to start it off right. And it's crazy because everything we're going to talk about today kind of like goes against some of those thoughts and how they're not good for you. But I feel like because of the turn of a year and just programming and what we've known and what we've done, it's and two coming off, if you did eat a lot for the holidays, you kind of feel crappy.
I wouldn't say go against. I think it's more of just like the opposite.
Okay, semantics.
Uh,
Maybe just a nicer way of saying it.
whatever.
Yeah, the opposite. So, yeah, so I've already started feeling being like, all right, what am I going to do? What did we just talk about today on our walk?
You're gonna have to remind me. I'm kind of cloudy in the head.
Okay, so we talked a little bit today on our walk, like this morning we were walking our pup, is that, you know, for me, like I know like going on like a hardcore, you know,
Structure.
structure, like a whole 30, some kind of a diet plan, or I'm going to be paleo, I'm going to be vegan. Like I have over life like declared these things,
Right.
right? Because they give me structure and they help me to fall back in line.
Right.
But at the same time, I think about everything we're teaching and everything we are building and everything that we are creating in the Next Evolution program. And it's really about creating that sustainability. So I ask myself, and I want you to ask yourself, like, when the new year comes, whether you're starting today or you're starting after January 1st, you're going to start on the 2nd, the 3rd, or the 6th. When it's time to start, what are you going to do to start? Like, have you ever thought about this? Because there's so much energy that goes into like New Year's resolutions and New Year, New You, and all these things. Because I feel like at the turn of a year, we've been programmed to be like, oh my God, all those things bubble up that you ever wanted to change in your life.
Hmm.
And of course, I feel like health and fitness is one of the things in the foreground, especially after eating like a fool over the holidays.
I mean, you said something that kind of sparked a thought. Like I think that's one of the issues with resolutions, especially like New Year's resolutions and going into like a new decade. Is like the whole starting thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
there shouldn't have to be a starting stopping point. It should just be like a continuation. Because if we like switch gears and think about it, you start, you stop. You might stop for 3, 6, 9 months, then you have to restart. So if we start to retrain ourselves to say, all right, this is what I'm going through right now. After this is done, or noticing those triggers, like it doesn't have to be a start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, because that's just a continuous cycle,
Right.
you know. And I strongly believe that sometimes you got to fall off to get back on the wagon, and it's
Right.
okay.
Keep talking. I'm still here.
um and it's just that thing. I think it's conditioning, how society puts it. Like, this is a great market. The end of the year, going into a new year, is an awesome uh, marketing time, for a lot of people. And they use the whole start stopping thing, I'm not gonna say a marketing ploy, but as a way to market services or whatever they're doing.
Right. You know, I think it makes sense because I think that it can be smart to say, hey, okay, I recognize, like you said, I fell off the wagon. I recognize that I want to get back online or I want to really change some things or I'm sick of going through this cycle. I think it's good when you recognize that.
Oh, yeah.
But then the next steps that you take to create that change, I think that's the most important thing. And that's what we want to talk about because it's like, New Year's resolutions. I'm going to change my life. We were just talking to a friend of yours, and I was trying to find this online, and I'm not very good at Google, so maybe someone can be like our Google assistant or something, because I am not very good at like finding things, or like your pocket ninja friend who can like Google anything, find
Right.
anything. But anyways, she was talking about this meme where it's like, you're dragging your baggage up the escalator or the stairs or whatever, and it's like, hey, yay, I get to like leave all my baggage in
That you're
2019
carrying
that you're
into
carrying.
2020.
And it's basically like, we think that we can just drop this like baggage
Right.
off December 31st
Right.
and then January 1st go like fresh and new moving forward. And God, wouldn't that be great where you could just like flip a switch,
That would be awesome if you
right?
could flip a switch.
I mean, sometimes things happen like that because you're just like, enough's enough. Sometimes you can do that. But if you think about traditionally, like, what have you been doing over and over and over for the past decade?
But even
What
if,
have
like,
you,
you've the people who say enough's enough and they like flip that switch, it's still been a series of events and actions and things that have added up to like
mm-hmm,
them making that change. So it's
right,
not just like, oh, I woke up today, I'm making this change. It's been a whole bunch of little things, and I
leading
think
up to
think
that?
think that's the point. Even with these, my issue with resolutions are people want to make these big changes, you know, and they don't understand that, like, oh, I want to change this, I want to change this, I want to change this. The four things, like, they're four big things, because if you break down these four things, there's like 100 little things that you have to start to change this big thing. So
Right.
it's no longer these four things for the year. They're four big things, but you now have like 4,000 little things you have to do to change these four big things. And I feel people don't really um
Well, don't remember that because I mean, you're talking about all kinds of behavior changes. Like if you want to start working out or you want to start getting healthy and fit, right? We're after
right,
the holidays, and like kind of like what I put in what we put in the description here. It's like, okay, I'm gonna eat a salad every day. I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. and work out. It's like all these like new habits are all coming in all at once,
hmm,
everything all at once, on top of the fact, like, okay, you also want to save more money this year and you wanted to go on more vacations and you want to be friendlier and you want to advance your career and you want to,
yeah,
like, there's all these things. And like, well, it's good to have like ideas of how you want to evolve and change. Like, we think that and we start to believe that we can do it all at once.
right. And it turns into this big overwhelming thing,
And it's exhausting.
because you're trying to take on
Yeah.
too much.
But we
And
think that we can. We think that it's just a simple
oh,
click.
well, yeah, people think it's a simple click too, and it's like a misunderstanding, a miss. I don't want to say a communication, but I guess just a misunderstanding that if you work on this one thing, let's work on this one thing. It's like, oh, this isn't enough. Like,
Yeah.
how is
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
going to change everything else?
Right.
But it's like trying to fix a car. A car is nothing more but a big piece of machinery made up of individual parts that work together.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing with goals. Yes, you have this big fancy goal that's broken down that you need to fix, and you're like, I need to fix it. Oh, but your engine's broken. You have broken spark plugs. You need new brake pads. Your transmission is jacked up. You
Mm-hmm.
have a hole in your oil tank. And there's all these little things you have to fix, and you're like, but I need to fix the car. Yes, but if you fix this thing, You work on that. You get that fixed. Then you move on to the next thing. You fix that. Eventually, you will fix the car. But it's like, oh, I got to do it all right now, and that's exhausting. Like
Yeah.
you said.
When I think too with like health and fitness, I think that the process, as complex as it is, I feel like it's like been simplified because you're like, okay, all I have to do is cut out everything I love. I have to go to the gym and do something I hate. Like just the ideas around what it is. And yeah, you know what? Like I get it. You want to change some things, you want to get up early. I mean, I think that those things can be exciting. But just think about how many things that you're taking on and that you're changing with your
Yep.
lifestyle
That's
and
like a,
keep that
it's
in
like a
mind.
shock to the system.
Right.
It's like that's people who also have to throw this out. I always got to throw out my little disclaimer. I'm not dogging nutritionists or dietitians, but you got to find the good one to work with you. Like someone who's trying to lose weight, or they go to the doctor says you need to change something, and this is a person who's used to eating out the majority of the time, and I'm talking about like the crappy eating out, like insert fast food name here or whatever. And so you're taking somebody who's used to doing this like the majority of the week, and you're basically telling them they need to eat a raw diet for the next month. Like you're shocking their system. So of course they're gonna do it for the 4 weeks because they have to do it. But
Mm-hmm.
after the 4 weeks are over, you're gonna see some changes, but you haven't like eased yourself into that. It's possible, it's sustainable, but just like anything else, like when a baby is born, I love this analogy. A baby doesn't pop out, start running. Like it doesn't happen. The baby comes out, can't even crawl. It's like doing this funny thing with its head. It can't even hold its head up. And then, eventually the muscles get stronger because it's getting its muscles stronger. Then it's able to crawl. It stumbles even with the crawling. It's getting its coordination down. Then eventually, get that. You pull yourself up. You take a step. Might be an ugly step. You might step and fall, but the baby doesn't fall and be like, oh, fuck it, not walking ever again. That's just gonna carry me everywhere. So
Right.
it gets up, you try it again. That's the same thing with this. Eventually you're walking, eventually you're running. It's a process that you have to work into. You just can't jump into the deep end. Well, some people can jump in the deep end, but like for the majority of individuals, that's not the way it's going to work if you want this to be sustainable and something you can do consistently.
Yeah, it's funny because I just said, so going back to our walk this morning, I was saying that okay, it's been kind of crazy and I crave that structure to get out of it. So this is going to be a question for you because even though we both represent 2J Hala, the Next Levolution program is really like Jay's expertise. And I know a lot, but like I am a student of Next Levolution, right? Like I am still learning and growing and you're helping me. You continue to help nudge me on my path, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I was like, oh, I want to do whole 30 or I want to do paleo or I want to do some kind of a 10-day transformation, 40-day transformation. Like I want to do these things. And I think those things are good, but it's almost like as I thought about our topic today, it almost had me go, like if that's always what I turn to,
Right.
right? And I kind of cycle in and out of that. Maybe
It's
that keeps me on board for a couple months. Maybe it keeps me on board for a year. Like I've had different lengths of time.
But too, and if you think about that process, you're using that, you're setting yourself up mentally for that crutch, because you're like, okay, I know if I want to do this, like not saying you're saying this, this is the subconscious
Yeah.
conversation that you're having to yourself. I know if I, want to eat pizza or candy or whatever, I have this to fall back on.
Mm-hmm.
It's always
That's a
that
good
like
point.
that fall back on, and
Right. You
depending
can
on
always
what you
go to that and cleanse yourself or start
right.
over.
And depending on what you're doing, like she said, it's not that it's a good or bad thing, but it goes back to what do you and how do you want to live like your sustainable life?
Yeah, I think it's just like the foundational thing for me with that is I'm kind of like sick of going to that. Like it worked for me or I thought it worked for me for the time being, right?
Right.
And it's also one of those things that you can do on your own. I don't have to hire anybody. I don't have to
Right.
I can do it on my own. I'm very good at that. But I'm kind of like sick of doing that because I feel like, okay, how many times am I going to do this? Like, why can't I just live? Why
And
can't I just create a new normal?
and depending on what it is you're doing, like spending money for those things.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that's your go-to, that's your crutch or whatever. But depending on you're dropping X amount of dollars for this period of time, even with like the whole 30, the paleo, still like you're switching up your whole eating thing
Mm-hmm.
for this amount of time, and it works for that specific amount of time. But the thing is, like what you're talking about is creating or having a certain special skill set to say, like, all right, I know Christmas is gonna happen. And people want to say, like, I'm gonna wait till the new year. But we talked about this before. There's always something popping up. There's
Mm-hmm.
always something popping up. So it's like it then becomes, I know these things are going to happen, and it's okay if I eat this in certain instances, but I can't overindulge. The issue becomes, uh, I feel, becomes when it becomes an overindulgence in the particular thing. You can still enjoy your pizza, you can still enjoy your cookies, you can still enjoy your alcohol, but you don't have to overindulge in these things to enjoy them.
Yeah, and that makes sense. But I guess another thing I was thinking too, it's almost like what Next Evolution program does is it helps you to slow down
Hmm.
in a very strategic way that helps you really think about what you're doing and learn some of the key foundational things that can help you make that sustainable change.
I agree because
So,
people are going to tell you. Sorry, go ahead.
well, no, I was just thinking, so you can do I think where you're going to with that, it's like if you are going to do whole 30 paleo, keto, intermittent fasting, whatever, I think it's cool to try those things, but it's like what is the intention behind it?
Right.
What is the energy and thought behind it? And I think that's what Next Evolution has taught me, because it's like, okay, I can do those things, but if the purpose of doing this thing is to lose weight and get clean again,
Right.
I may want to reevaluate and have a different purpose behind it. Because if the purpose is experimentation,
Right.
because then you're finding out, does this sit well with my body? How do I feel energetically? Do I like this? Because I feel like what I've learned from doing some of those is I've learned, do I like paleo? Do I like vegan? Do I like as I've tried the different things, you kind of find out, like, do you like it? Does it fit with your lifestyle?
And like
It's
all those things work for a particular reason.
mhm.
It's not to say that one is better than the next. So if someone asks me what's the best diet, my answer is going to be whatever diet works for your particular lifestyle.
Mhm.
And the crazy thing, not crazy actually, but and you might find yourself switching in and out of those things.
Mhm.
So you might be vegan, let's say for a quarter of the year. The majority of your food might be one of a vegan. And
Mhm.
then, I mean, you switch it up. You might do paleo for a while. Then you might be like flexitarian for a while.
Yeah.
And I think that's the good thing about the program and what we're doing and what we're trying to do for people. It's not just like, oh, I'm paleo or whatever. It's like figuring out what works for your particular system. Just
Mhm.
like the seasons change, your body will need certain things during certain times of the year. And for you to be able to walk into something or a restaurant or whatever and be able to still um, eat, stay on your sustainable paths without saying, "Ooh, I can't have that because I'm vegetarian or whatever." And it just being conscious of what works for your particular lifestyle.
Right. And just being curious and being willing to wait the long haul, because you're still going to see results.
Oh yeah.
But I think that it's like it's a matter of, because I mean, one of the things we said is like, let's talk about the downfalls of resolutions and all of this energy that's put towards like new year, new me. That whole like click, I'm going to drop all my baggage in a day and I'm going to be free and clear,
Right.
right? Um, but it's also how to begin to make those changes. And really, I feel like it's quite simple. If you want new year, new me, I think it's great. Like, think about, like, I would encourage you to think about like,
What does that really mean?
well, and even like reflect back on 2019. Think about all the joys and celebrate all of the amazing things that have happened.
Hmm.
Really just take note and think, because I like, going into a new year and thinking like, okay, what is my word for this year? What is my intention? What am I looking to get out of this year? Because I think it's good to set that intention and think about like, what do I want out of this experience, right? And to have those goals and have those things you're striving for. I think that's all really good. But like you said, if you think about like, okay, if since we're talking about health and wellness, like if that's what you want and you want to start working out, like just take it easy on yourself and be nice. Like, why don't you start? Like, if you went from couch and all you've been is couch, like, can you do 1 or 2 days for the next few weeks?
Right. Just to start.
Don't go 5 a.m., 5 days in a row, 6 days in a row, like something you've never done. It's brand new.
What
Like,
works with your schedule? And if
figure out,
and if it's
yeah,
not a gym, they have numerous on-demand programs
right.
where you can be in the comfort of your own home.
And just be friendly with yourself. So maybe just flip it a little bit. So if your goal is not health and fitness related, just think about, okay, how can you still work to achieve that goal and keep it forward, like in the front of your mind, but just flip it. So instead of doing everything the first, second, third, and the whole month of January, or doing everything starting the week of the 6th, you kind of flip it and like not go balls to the wall.
Right.
And really, you can do all this on your own, but if you find that you have like fallen off, and you're just sick of trying to do it on your own, that's where you want to talk to Jay about Next Levolution, because really it's almost like the going balls to the wall type thing. Like if you really want to go all in and commit, you're all in and committing to yourself, but we're going to help you through that process. So when things come up, or when you feel burnout, or when you feel like you don't know what to do to work out, or you feel like the gym's the only option, or you're trying and you're struggling at 5 a.m. and it's not working, you have a community, a system to plug into that's going to help hold your hand through the whole process, but help you to be better and stronger and create that sustainable change.
I think that's a big thing,
Yeah,
accountability.
the accountability. I mean, I even just said, I was like, Jay, can you put me back in that Next Levolution program? Like, I want to go through it again. This will be my second time going through it. And I think it's good to go back to the basics.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, cause
shoot,
you,
we've created the program and I want to go through it again. Jay's going through it right now.
cause it's
Yeah.
important to like it's it's crucial to stop, to think, and to do things different, and to see that little things, actually taking little habits and practicing and applying this information, because I love the quote that says knowledge is power, but I disagree with the quote, because knowledge isn't power. All knowledge is information until you apply it. That's when knowledge becomes power. So the application of knowledge is power.
Yeah.
And that's what the program is, because you have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have all this information, but if it's not applied, where is the real change going to come from?
Right. And so, whether it's through us or on your own, just think about that. Think about your goals, because right now is a perfect time, right? We're right in between the holidays. We're about to have New Year's.
2020,
Yeah, like it's
woo!
going to be exciting. You're going to go back to your job, you're refreshed, like whatever it is. Like really think about your goals, because I know a lot of you have had conversations with who are going through that, right? Reflecting on 2019, thinking about 2020, writing down the 5 things you want to accomplish this year. I think that's all really good exercises. Just the tweak and the difference is it's like dream big, right? Like go for the stars, but remember to like flip it on its head and remember to take those small steps, and don't take on all 5 goals on January 3rd or 2nd or 6th.
My
Like,
my challenge is, if you find yourself doing the same thing every year around this time, do the opposite.
yeah, try something different. Why not? You got nothing to lose. You maybe have everything to gain back, like all your sanity, you know? Um, well, whatever you decide to do for the new year, be safe, enjoy it, you know? Um, hug on your loved ones, hang out, relax, whatever, maybe you're working, maybe you're not. Whatever you're doing, have fun, be safe, enjoy. This is the last show of 2019. Next time we see you will be in 2020. We can't wait to hear how your holidays went and where you went and what you did. And we will see you sometime in 2020. All right, guys. Bye.